to the Tool Station Northern Counties East League podcast. I'm Richard Watts. I'm joined by League General Manager Matt Jones, who's going to give us an update from the league.
Yeah. So I'll start by looking at the games from last Saturday. Emley AFC bowed out of the FA Vars. Done really, really well to get to the last 8. We were hopeful they were going to go all the way to Wembley. I was getting a bit excited. But unfortunately, they lost 4-0 at Worcester City, and it's possibly the worst draw they could have got. Worcester City are the bookies' favourites to win the competition. They've lost one game all season. They're battling on 4 fronts for trophies still. It was always going to be tough. But unfortunately, they bowed out 4-0. By all accounts, the scoreline was a little harsh. We'd like to just say well done to Emley because they're the last remaining Northern Counties East League team, and they've done really well to get to the last 8. It's been a few years since we've had a team get that far. In the Premier Division, I've highlighted a game at the bottom, big win for Eccles Hill, who won 2-0 against Goole in the battle against relegation. That could be a huge 3 points for them at the end of the season. And then I picked out as well a Tadcaster Albion, who won 2-1 at Handsworth. Teams don't find it easy going to Handsworth on the 4G. It's never an easy place to go anyway. But in particular, there were 2 goals scored by Ollie Norman. One, if you get a chance to watch it on YouTube or Twitter or wherever these things are put, it's been described as something that Lionel Messi would be proud of. He's literally dribbles past 3 or 4 players and bangs it in. So if you get a chance to look at that on social media, it's certainly worth a look. In Division 1, I picked out 2 games again. Big game at the top in the race for the title and for the playoffs. Shirebrook Town winning 3-0 at Beverley. Beverley is a notoriously difficult place to go to. Shirebrook are on a real good run at the minute, and that win actually takes them top of the league. Although Parkgate have got 4 games in hand, I believe it is. It's a real statement of intent by the visitors. And then Louth Town going all the way to Nostell, a long journey for them, winning 5-1. The game was marred by a serious injury to Harry Crawford of Louth, who suffered a double break to his leg. He's currently had an operation, I believe, yesterday. Not a particularly nice thing to see. We wish Harry a full and speedy recovery on behalf of the league. Looking at the fixtures, we've had this season close to 300 games now postponed, which is about around a third of all the games have been off. And some games have been called off multiple times. The League Cup tie, for example, between Tadcaster and Silverton was postponed 6 times. We finally got it played on the 7th attempt, and with that one, we even agreed between the clubs to switch it to Silverton, and then that was waterlogged as well. So eventually got it on, but I've never known a season like it for postponed games. Right from August, when last year the pitches were like concrete in August. This year we were having games postponed for being waterlogged. It just seems to rain constantly. Fridays, or if we've got midweek games scheduled, it'll book it down just before the matches. We're in a position where we've got 2 or 3 teams that have got a lot of games still to play. Some are okay, but others have got a lot of games. Barton Town, who you cover, Richard, in the Premier Division, they've got a lot of games left. And in Division 1, the biggest issue is Parkgate. We're going for the league title, still got 15 league games to play. We asked the FA for an extension. The season has to be finished by April, end of April, they told us. Means teams playing 3, if any more games called off, sometimes 4 times a week, which we don't like to do. We asked the FA, could we have an extension to the league, as did the Northern League. And I believe 1 or 2 others since across the country, because it's a nationwide problem. They've done the same. The FA rejected this out of hand. The season has to be finished on time. We have got a slight concession, and we've got now until May the 6th for the playoff finals. So, in theory, there's a few extra days there to fit in the playoff finals, but the normal league season still has to be completed. Early on in the season, we played lots of midweek games, wary of the fact that the winters are getting warmer and wetter, and we're having all sorts of problems. As I say, this is the worst season we've had. We played lots of midweek games to the point where some clubs were complaining. And the idea behind it was, while the weather's good in August, September, October, the nights are a bit lighter, there's no frost, no any problems like that, we'll get as many games as we can, just in case something like this happens. And teams were complaining, the players were getting tired, but I think now to see the benefit of doing what we did, and we'd be in a heck of a worse position if we'd not crammed the games in. Going forward, I think that's something we have to do. Premier Division, we're still okay to finish on time, so the biggest problem is Barton. Most other clubs have got 6-7 games left, not a problem. Division 1's more problematic. with 3 extra teams in there, that's 6 extra league games for each of the teams to play. So whereas in the Premier Division they play 38, in Division 1 it's 44. 44 games at Step 6 bottom, I've said all the way along, is a ridiculous number of games when people and players have got jobs, volunteers have got jobs. It's an awful lot. It makes a heck of a difference just having those 3 teams. Going forward, as we said, we're seeing warmer, wetter winters. The FA maybe need to be a bit more accommodating when leagues ask for extra help at the end of the season. They just seem set in the ways that they're not going to move it. It is what it is, and that's that. And they've got to look at how many games across the whole country are being postponed, because it's not fair to the players in terms of player welfare having to play every 2 or 3 days. And with one suggestion we've seen as well on X or Twitter, as was, people suggested, why don't you go the way rugby league's gone, play in the summer, play March to October or something like that. But again, that causes issues because we've got a number of teams that ground share with cricket and they can't play at home. They can't play at home until middle of September, end of September anyway. They would never be able to play at home in the summer. So that's a non-starter for me, but it's certainly going forward, we need to look at the weather and doing something, and maybe the FA being a bit more flexible with regard to the finishing dates.
If you have a question for Matt Jones, please email NCEL Podcast at gmail.com and we'll try and include that question in a future edition. Volunteers are essential to all clubs at this level, and on the podcast we hope to feature a number of volunteers in future episodes. If you're a volunteer who would like to come onto the podcast and talk about what you do in your club, then email ncelpodcast at gmail.com. Next up, NCEL Talk. I'll hand straight over to host Aaron Walton.
Well, evening, gents, and we're back for another roundup of the NCEL Prem and Div 1. So if we can start with the Saturday's results, and it unfortunately all comes to an end for Emley in the quarter-finals, beaten by a strong Worcester City team 4-0. But they've still got plenty to play for, haven't they, gentlemen?
Yeah, they have. Yeah, they're still in the top of the league and in the quarterfinals of the League Cup, aren't they? I believe.
Yeah. So they've got plenty to play for. So we can't shed too many tears for Emley. But well done, for getting that far.
I think Worcester could go on and win it because they're a strong team, aren't they? You know, so
very, very strong, and they've had that.
No disgrace going out to them.
Oh, absolutely not. So, right, if we look at the Prem in the league, then we start with Rossington. They beat Thackley 2-0 to keep them in the mix, and Thackley drop out of the playoffs. Knaresborough beat Frickley 2-0 with 2 early goals. Tough place to go, Knaresborough. It's a long way to go and it's a tough place to go. The match I was at, gentlemen, Penistone Church versus Barton Town. A very entertaining 3-3 draw. If you were not supporting either team, you'd have been entertained. If you were supporting either team, you'd have been horrified with some of the defending. And you'd have been pleased with some of the attacking. Barton went down 3-1 at half-time with a 9-minute horror show of defence, where we let 3 goals in. Yet we still had a decent half in attack. Second half, a lot better. Got 2 goals back. And I thought Clark Greaves played really well after chastising the poor man, because he had a lot of trouble with Anthony Brown on the wing. But he came back at a real good second half, and Clark, well done. So that's Barton and Penistone. Now it's getting tasty at the bottom, because Bottisford tonked Maltby 4-0, and yes. Bob had a tricky trip to Eccleshill for goal. Enlighten us, what happened?
Not a lot, as far as the goal was concerned, really, because we were just poor on the day. There's coming no excuses, you know. I mean. To be honest, we never really, I can't recall testing their keeper at Eccleshill, and they deserved the win. I mean, it was 0-0 at half time. Not much, it was a scrappy first half. But then they scored a really wonder goal right from the edge of the box, a great shot to go 1 up early in the second half. And then we tried to get the goal back, but once we went 2-0, the writing was on the wall, you know. Disappointing because there was a good following from Gould. They had a crowd of 105, and I think that's a good crowd for Eccleshill, on a Saturday,
Yeah, it is, Bob, because they don't usually get three figures, do they? And it's a shame because they play some good football, and I like going to Eccleshill. I know it's the other side of Bradford, but for me it's quite easy to get to. So that was Goal. You lost 2-0.
Yeah, so it was disappointing. So
yeah,
we'll gloss over that for time being.
We will do, yeah, because we've got a little bit of good news to come anyway. So elsewhere, Handsworth lost at home to Tadcaster 2-1. So that was sort of we've sort of gone over Premier Division. So Saturday, Shirebrook, and the Brook rained on Beverley's Parade, I'm afraid, with a strong 3-0 win, albeit with 2 late goals. But Shirebrook show their intent, don't they? Parkgate, impressive at Staveley, 3-1 winners to keep up the pressure. Si, on to yourself. A 6-0 shellacking of Swallow Nest. Pray tell.
Yeah, to be fair, at half-time, it didn't look like it was going to be. We were 1-0 up, but it was a bit of a laboured first half for us. But made some changes at half-time, changed his formation, did the boss, and it worked.
It worked.
Yeah,
it definitely worked, yeah.
We were all over them. I think we kind of doubled up on the wings, and we had a lot of success in that second half, as you can see, 5 goals, and it was a good afternoon. Was that?
Very good indeed. So you can't do much more than that. That's good for the goal difference. So keeping the pressure up. Retford United and Woolwell played out a 0-0 draw, didn't they? Retford FC beat Selby away 4-0. Deck Bacon getting a couple, and the very immensely talented Aaron Sennett Nielsen too. He scored a goal. I like him, a good player. Louth put Nostell to the sword at the Welfare Ground 5-1. And down at the bottom, Armthorpe slipped up, didn't they, at home to Brigg 3-2. Ollerton lost to Dropfield 4-1. And Yorkshire Amateurs lost out to Athersley 2-1. And another game, Harrogate 0, Wasborough Bridge 0. So I think Athersley are having a decent season. I know they're down near the bottom, but they've had some horrendous seasons just lately. So it's nice to see them sort of, getting a few good results at long last. So well done.
Yeah, they've picked up lately, haven't they? They have started to actually put some form together in the last couple of months. And got points against some teams that you might not always have expected them to. So I think they've kind of eased away from that relegation zone, I think, a little bit.
Yeah, it's good to see because I like my trips to Athersley. I like me to the proper football people there. So if we go on to Tuesday night in the Prem, Goal had that hideous journey to Pickering, Bob. Did you survive the journey? It's a horrendous journey.
Yeah, in fact, we had to delay the kickoff by a quarter of an hour because some of our players were travelling from West Yorkshire. They got stuck in traffic coming out of Leeds to Sheffield. Yeah, it is a good journey. It really is. Yeah.
Somebody said they had to delay the kickoff because you'd left your wallet at home. You had to go back home for it. Was that right?
I couldn't possibly comment.
So when you go, so what a great game then. Tell us,
Bob. We sat. You never, when you're watching goal, it's not good for your nerves because you never know which team's going to turn up. It's like the good and the bad. We were bad on Saturday. We were good on Tuesday. I mean, Bryce, he scored the first, went 1-0 up. He got a great individual goal, cutting in from the right. And then they quickly equalised 1-1. Then Liam Flanagan put us 2-1 up before the half-time break. And then the start of the second half, it was 2-2 or 2-2 then. But then we went in front again. We went in front 3-1. That was it, 3-1. Yeah. They got one back, and then we went 4-2. So Bryce got 2, Liam Flanagan got 2. But it was a completely different. I don't know. I think once we got one in front, it set the team's confidence. If we can get in front, I think it lifts the team, like any team, really. And we deserve the win. We deserve the win. And again, it was on a Tuesday night to Pickering. There was a good, 30 plus supporters from Goole, that's good. Which is a good following. I mean, the crowd was 124, which I think for Pickering is for Tuesday night is a good crowd, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's a nice setup at Pickering, and I don't think the locals don't seem to really follow them too much, which is a shame because I like it at Pickering. I don't like the journey to Pickering, but I do when you're there. It's not too bad, is it? It's a nice clubhouse. It's a nice main stand.
Yeah. But that's funny you should say that, because I was talking to some of the supporters. They're going to be moving ground next year or so. The chap that owns it, Flamingo Land, I think he owns it. They're building a planning permission to build a ground at Kirby Misterton, which is about 4 miles south of Pickering. And it's been passed by the council. And I was talking to some fans agreed, some didn't.
Oh, right.
So I think they're just going to play the reserve team going forward, you know, if in the future season. But got to be seen. But I ain't been to Pickering for, I think I've only been once, maybe if that. But it's a really good setup, as you say. Got 3 stands around the ground. Look, nice clubhouse, cricket field next door, and a bowling green. It's really nice. All credit to them, you know. But
yeah. I do. I said I don't like the journey there, but when I get there, I like it. But I don't like the results either. We lost 5-4. So what a game that was. So that was Tuesday. So if we're going to Div 1 for Tuesday night, well, our game at Golka was postponed. I wasn't going to go to it anyway because it's too far to go on a school night, I'm afraid. I was at the Norwood to see Beverley back onto winning ways, beating a plucky Glasshoughton side 4-2. Really good football at times on a sticky pitch. Glasshoughton took the lead with essentially their first chance, really, from a corner. Then you always sort of felt Beverley would score, and they did. But one I'm going to say one Glasshoughton player who impressed me was a young lad who came on around 70 minutes. Who's called William Turner. He got a bit of pace, and he had a real well taken goal. So watch out for this lad, Will Turner, good player. Horbury put 8 past Ollerton. I really do feel for James Humphreys, the manager at Ollerton, because he's on to a hiding to nothing, isn't he, at Ollerton? But they keep turning up, they keep playing, and that's the main thing. Louth's topsy-turvy form continues. They lost at home to Staveley 3-1. Dromfield beat Clay Cross 1-0. And Wakey get a point at Retford FC. What was that like?
Tricky match. I kind of knew, and I'd said myself, Retford's one of those teams, and I've used this phrase before, the consistently inconsistent. They can beat anyone on the day. They might be in a sort of a mid-table position, but they're a very effective team at what they do when they're on form. And yeah, they scored in the first half. We were not at our best, I'd say, for the game, really, for most of it. We got a penalty, which the keeper even got something on, but couldn't keep it out. And that, you never know, that could be a really valuable point by the end of the season. So, we were happy. We're still unbeaten for this, in a run at the moment. I think it's about 11 games now. Yeah. And that's very important. But yeah, some like you mentioned, some big matches. Obviously, Beverley win that one that they did to stay top, so that's keeping the pressure on. Yeah. And Horbury, that with that 8-0, we made on the flip side of what you said about Ollerton there. Another big win for them. James Cusworth with 5 goals on the day.
Wow.
And a quick shout out to Brad Swain, former Wakefield player, getting his first of the season there as well in that one. Yeah. But yeah, another big win for them. They don't have to play any of the top sides. I mentioned this last time. They don't have to play any of the top sides that are currently looking at the playoffs, whereas all the other playoff ones do. And if you look at the table, they're actually closing in on Retford and Woolwell now.
They certainly are, right? They're only a point behind Woolwell. They played 2 games more, I think, but they're only a point behind and 2 points behind Retford. So,
what's your money on Horbury sneaking it by the end of the season and getting into the playoffs? Maybe, you never know.
Yeah. Dark horse, I think. Yeah, like you say, if they hadn't had such a bad start, they would have definitely been up there and not really sweating.
Definitely one to watch for next season, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Well, we said that about Barton, and look at us this season. I think everything that could have gone wrong has gone wrong this season. But anyway, we digress. So that was Tuesday night. Now, Wednesday night, we had a few games on Wednesday night. Albion played Frickley and won 2-0 with Robbie Fox double. Now he's up to 31 for the season, is Robbie Fox, so he's having a real good season. Good player is Robbie. He's got a real good goal against Barton early on in the season. So Albion is still there. Eccleshill, they need the points at home to Penistone. Tough team to play Penistone. And got a valuable point in a 2-2 draw. So they're on a little bit of form now, Eccleshill.
Yeah, it's a good, I thought that was a good result for Eccleshill, really. Even at home, against Penistone, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's nobody more surprised than me that Eccleshill are down there because I think they're a good footballing team. But as we say, I think probably like a lot of teams this season, being probably quite inconsistent.
Yeah, it's a pity that people. Did you see the crowd last night? Eccleshill 37 says.
Oh,
what a shame for them. I mean, we're all hard-working volunteers, and they get crowd 37.
I know it's just soul destroying, isn't it? I mean, it's not a king's ransom to go.
Lights on, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It must be really hard for clubs like that with those sort of crowds because you need your people through the turnstiles to keep your club going.
Yeah. Albion only had 67 as well, so it's
yes, it is, and I mean, they're a well-run club. Albion, I like Albion. I like the people with Albion. We always have a good laugh. So it's a shame that maybe I don't know some Bradford City fans don't go and watch the local non-league teams because they're spoilt, really, aren't they? They've got Thackley, Eccleshill, Campion. They've got Albion. So they've got all those teams to go and watch. And I mean, it's not, as I say, it's not a king's ransom to go in a £5 or £6. It's not that much to be entertained for a few hours, is it?
Not really.
It's cheaper than buying a pizza, isn't it? Depending where you go. Anyway, let's have a look at the league tables. Then we intimated with the Div 1 that it was getting quite tasty. So we'll stay with Div 1. And top of the table is Beverley Town, 34 games, 80 points. So we've got Wakefield, 37 games, 79 points. Same with Shirebrook. They played a game less, haven't they? They're on 36 games, 79 points the same. So very, very tight. But the team that everybody's sort of looking over the shoulders is Parkgate. They've got a lot of games to play, though, haven't they? 29 games they've played, 75 points. I mean, that's...
They're looking at 3 games a week. If you look at I've seen their fixture list, and there's 2 or 3 weeks where they're playing 3 times a week. Before end of season. It's got to take its toll, hasn't it?
Is it going to catch up with them? That's what I ask myself. Because I know Barton Town, we've got to play 3 games a week, and then we had one cancelled away at Golka, so there's another one to fit in. So and I mean, we haven't got the strength in depth of the squad. We're just sometimes we'll maybe only have a couple of substitutes because people have got like players have got other commitments, they've got work and what have you. And I think I was chatting to a guy this week was saying that players sometimes struggle nowadays to get the time off work to play, especially midweek games, or if they're working shift work, they're maybe not always work on a Saturday. So I don't think companies are as I don't know what's the word. They're not as letting the players go. Flexible, that's the word. Yes, I was. They don't seem as flexible, do they nowadays? So you need a big squad. So we're looking at, as I say, David Parkgate. Retford United is still up there, aren't they? 5th, 34 games, 71 points. Good old Wombwell, 34 games, 70 points. And your fancy, number 7, Horbury, 36 games, 69 points. And then I think after that, Brig are a little bit too far behind. The 10 points behind. They've come up a bit now, Brig. They're putting some games together, but I think they're just a bit too far behind, aren't they? So I think it's basically 1 to 7, isn't it? Well, 1 to 6 with Horbury as an outside for the playoffs, isn't it? But it's interesting to see who'll go up as champ. I mean, it could be one.
Hard to call, is that?
1 of 4, I think. I think Retford United maybe a little bit too much. But you've got yourselves, Wakefield, Beverley, Shirebrook and Parkgate. It's going to be tough. The playoffs are going to be fantastic, I think. So
it's going to be some interesting shows for us to come up with. In the next few weeks, we're going to be talking about these games, and I can't wait. It's going to be a real good finish to the season.
Oh, yeah, and hopefully we'll get some good crowds to them as well. I think we will. So looking at the bottom, Ollerton 35 games, 4 points. Swallownest 36 games, 13. And Glasshoughton are just there, out there. They're 37 and 25. But Yorkshire Amateurs are still not quite climbed away, have they? 37 games, 27 points. Armthorpe, I think they've got the games, haven't they? 34. They played 34 and they've got 30 points. So I think Ollerton and Swallownest have probably gone, don't you, gents?
Yeah, definitely.
So. Yeah. It's between Glasshoughton and Yorkshire Amateurs, I would say, now for the third.
Yeah. And I've seen both teams, and I was quite impressed with Glasshoughton. Just a little bit naive in the defending, but I was quite impressed with them. They had a thin squad. They only had 12 players, but they played all right. But Beverley played some nice football. So that's Division 1, and it's looking really good. Premier, well, I think it's Emily's to mess up, isn't it, really?
Yeah,
Emily's there, isn't it, almost,
Yeah, 30 games, 72 points. You've got Campion, they've played 2 more games, 66 points. Garforth in third, 32 games, 59 points. And then this is where it gets quite interesting. You've got Albion and Rossington. I think Thackley have dropped off a bit now, don't you?
Yeah.
Still in touch, though, aren't they? They're still in touch. They're only 3 behind Rossington.
They're only 3, yeah, but they're seeming to losing 1 or 2 now, which they weren't earlier on.
And they played 33 games,
Yeah, you can never rule them out. Rossington, 32 games, 56, and Albion, 31 games and 58 points. So I think it's between those. Golker are a little bit further behind. They've got 48 points with 32 games. Now, Bob, I don't like going down to the bottom, but
no, neither do I.
No, we're not much further in front. So we've got Maltby in 20th place, 31 games, 22 points. So they've got a couple of games on you, Bob.
Yeah, but I'd rather there's a 5-point gap now after our win on Tuesday. But I think I'd rather have the points than the games in hand. Because once you've got the points in the bank, you can never know what's going to happen when you play. So I'd rather have the points.
To be fair to all 3 of us, we've said this from day one. We'd rather have the points, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
So yeah,
totally
definitely.
Agree.
So Goal are on 33 games, 27 points. I think the trouble with Goal, Bob, is inconsistency, like you say, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Yeah, you never know which team's going to turn up. But I always think if we get in front, we're going to have a good match, because it seems to bring the confidence, which it does, But if we can play like we played on Tuesday night for the rest of the season, fingers crossed.
Be safe.
We're here, hopefully. But it's what they call squeaky bum time.
It certainly is. Well, you got to play Barton yet, so there's that could go any.
Well.
You have, yeah. Oh heck. So we've got Eccleshill 18th, 32 games, 29 points. So they've not really. They're still really in a bit of trouble. And Pickering, 30 points. So Pickering. And then, of course, we've got Barton on 33. We've played 27, but again...
You're all right there, I think. I'm sure you'll be okay now.
Do you think?
You've got all these games that you've still got 11 games to play, and you're going to be picking up points. You'll be picking up some points along the way.
I think we will. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the attack. Even though we're 3-1 down at half-time against Penistone, we'd hit the bar, we'd hit the post, the keeper had done a couple of really good saves. So, you think we're making the chances. It's just we seem to switch off for like about a 5 to 10 minute periods in the first half, and teams score 2 or 3 goals, and you just can't come back from that.
No.
So, but I don't know. We've got Bottisford just in front of Barton. Well, they've played a lot more games. They've played 33 games and 34 points. But I think Mike Thompson at Bottisford's doing a real good job there. He's got a young team.
Yeah, but again, they've got the points, haven't they? They've got 34.
They've got the points. Yeah, they've got the points.
They've got more points than games. They've got more points than games played. So you're always in a good place if you like that. 34 points, 33 games played. So more points than games played. So you're always in a good place. I think.
You're right there, Bob. So if we go on, let's have a look now. We've looked at the leagues. Let's have a look at the games we've got to play. So in the Prem, because I want to get onto those quality games in Div 1, but at the bottom, we've got Maltby there away to Garforth on Saturday. We've got Eccleshill at home to Golker. Barton play Handsworth.
Yeah.
Goal. You've got a tricky tie with Hallam up on the slope at Sandygate.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's always a tough place to go in Hallam. I always feel, they're a good team at home. They're a good team at home. And they get the crowds. They get the crowds, don't they, as well?
Well, they're probably the best supported in the league, them and Emley, aren't they? And I would say Hallam a little bit more because they're not near the top.
No, that's true.
You've got a good manager as well with Craig Denton, real good manager, real nice guy as well. So that's a tough one for you, Bob, but it's a funny old game, isn't it?
It depends what team turns up on Saturday. But we go with I go with hope.
We always go with hope. Don't we? We're football fans, so that'll be a good one.
Sometimes when I come back, I've left hope at home, so when I've come home.
I hope you ain't got a cat or a dog that you kick.
No, I haven't. No. There's quite a team.
Good. The last one at the bottom, Pickering, they've got a real tough tie away at Penistone. So that's the bottom. Top of the table, we've got Emley playing Silsden. I think Emley should win that, but we never know. Albion are away to Tadcaster, always a tricky place to go. Thackley have got Bottisford at home. Campion have got Knaresborough at home. And Rossington are away to Frickley. So there's some good ties there. So I don't think there'll be much change in the top 4 or 5. Do you, gents?
No, I don't. No.
No. So let's get on to Div 1 with the games at the weekend. Si, there's two games that jump off the page, isn't there?
Absolutely. It's like a magic weekend, isn't it? Where you've got all the top it's almost like the playoffs now. Yeah, well, you got all the top 4 teams in action with each other. 2 6-pointers. Does that make it a 12-pointer this weekend?
12-pointer, possibly. I think. I tell you what. If they're all draws, well, we're sort of back to square one. But if there's some winners and losers, that'll be some
big impact.
Big changes.
It can really make or break someone's title push, can't it?
Definitely. So you guys, Wakefield are away to Shirebrook. Have you been to Shirebrook?
I haven't. I actually missed that game last season. It's one of the grounds I haven't been to yet. So yeah, looking forward to that one.
A nice ground.
Whether I look forward to the match, I don't know, because I'm always nervous before the big games. Shirebrook have started to pick up again. I thought they had a little wobble a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And they seem to slip away from that title push, but they've come back lately.
And they've just signed Danny South as well, haven't they? Am I right in saying that, Danny South?
From I don't know.
From Belfast, I'm sure I've seen that. They signed Danny South from Belfast.
Wow. So, that's a good signing if they have. They've got I think they've got the 2 Kierans in the team who play well. They always score plenty of goals. So that'll be a real good game, and that'll be a massive test for Wakefield, won't it, Si?
Definitely. We need to keep our run going, but we need to pick up a bit of form after the way that we played on Tuesday. So we'll see. And then the other big one, Gate and Beverley, and that's they're 2 teams that we're talking about who's going to be looking for the title, and Parkgate need those 3 points to show that they're not going to drop off, don't they? Really.
Definitely do. And having watched Beverley on Tuesday, well, I've seen Beverley 10 times this season, believe it or not. So, I was impressed in patches with how good Beverley were passing the ball. Pass move, and creating chances. They were just fizzing them wide, just over the bar. getting them on target, keeper saving them, etc., etc. But they looked okay. But there's always a mistake in defence with Beverley, and it can be critical sometimes. I thought two defensive mistakes on Tuesday, really 4-2, but they were comfortable. So that should be a good game. I think they've got Scott Phillips back, so that's good news for them. He's a prolific goal scorer in this standard of football. I was impressed with Ben Hinch Tuesday night, and they were playing really well, some really good football. So I haven't seen Parkgate. Have you seen them this season, Si?
Yeah, but we went there and got a 1-1 draw at their place, and we're playing them at ours in a couple of weeks. So yeah, it's another big game coming up for us. We've got in the next few weeks, we've got Shirebrook obviously this one, then we've got Parkgate and we've got Woolwell as well. So we've got 3 big games coming up.
That could shape your season, Si.
Absolutely, and we've got Retford. We've only just played Retford and got a draw, and next Tuesday we've got them at our place. Back-to-back Tuesdays with Retford.
Wow! So that's good. How's our friend Mr. Musselwhite doing in goal for you?
Very well. Made some really good saves against Retford. Actually, I think someone said to me that when he was coming, he's a really good shot stopper, and did very well with that.
Oh, he's a good shot stopper, and he can save the odd penalty or two. But yeah, good. I'm pleased he's doing well. I'll give a quick shout out to one of our players as well, Slater Barnes, the recent signing that came in at the start of the year. Yes. 9 goals in his first 9 games. Oh no, 10 in 10 now. Sorry, got penalty, didn't he? Yeah, 10 goals in 10 games. It's a very good start, isn't that? It is. He's a good player. When he played for Golka, when Golka were playing Barton Town, me and Richard were commentating, and we thought he was very good on that when he played Barton. He stood out for us. So yeah, good player. Really impressed with him. So all in all, it looks a very tense weekend for us all, doesn't it? So
I see at the bottom the glass out and playing Selby out there, and is it Yorkshire Amateur away to Worsborough?
Oh, so again, yeah,
that's 2 key games.
Yeah, so Selby are a bit like Gould, a bit Jekyll and Hyde, aren't they? They'll win 4-0 one week and lose 4-0 the other.
Yeah. But what the connection there is, it's at Glass Out, and it's Christian Fox, the ex-boss of Selby, so that's a bit of a...
that's right, yeah.
And while we're talking about that in the table, and I'll throw in as well, Athersley versus Amthorpe, because those are 2 teams that I think if one of those teams gets the win, I think it makes them safe. I mean, I know they're both kind of there, but I think that would put a stamp on it. But someone needs to come out of that with 3 points, so that'll be a good game to watch.
So both top Div 1, both top and bottom. There's some really good games. So I can't wait to get back on Thursday and be chatting about it. And there's some midweek games as well, but we'll have a chat about them on how they went on Thursday. So I think we're just about run out of time.
Okay.
So all it says is to Bob, good luck for goal, and Si, good luck to Wakey, and hopefully you get what you want. And we'll see everybody back on Thursday night with a smile on the face, whether we've won, lost, or drawn.
That's it for this edition. If you've got any news for the podcast or you'd like to appear on the podcast, please email ncelpodcast@gmail.com. Thanks for listening.